You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Andrea Lutz. Ahead tonight, Missoula woman who smoked meth at a Missoula daycare where she worked is sentenced. Why some, though, are claiming her punishment does not go far enough. Plus 2 Montana bodies of water, 2 vehicles submerged, and one of them with a person inside. We have the details ahead. And 2 people are dead after a day-long incident that started with a shooting in Kevin and ended with a standoff in Shelby. We do have some new details tonight on that deadly incident. It all took place in central Montana. Tonight, we've learned that 2 people are dead as police still try to piece together the series of events that happened. Again, it all started with a shooting in Kevin, ended with a standoff in Shelby. MTN's Joe Husinga brings us the latest.
I'm here at the corner of East Richland and Shoto Street in Shelby, where a tense scene unfolded Monday. Now, crime scene tape remains up around several homes, but this is not where the incident started. According to the Toole County Sheriff's Office, they received a call Monday morning from a female reporting a possible shooting in Kevin. Deputies responded to that scene where they found a deceased male at a residence. When they began the investigation, they discovered that a male suspect had taken a woman at gunpoint from Kevin to his residence in Shelby. The man then barricaded himself and the hostage inside his residence, and authorities began blocking off the area. Toole County received assistance from several law enforcement agencies, including a Conrad police negotiator and the Great Falls Police High Risk Unit. Police were able to contact the suspect and negotiate the woman's release. Those negotiations continued with the suspect, but he then opened fire on police, who returned fire. The suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. At the request of the Toole County Sheriff's Office, the investigation has been handed over to Montana DCI. In Shelby, Joe Husinga, MTN News.
Okay, Joe, thanks for an update on that. And we do have new details tonight surrounding flooding in Missoula's Orchard Homes neighborhood. Tonight, residents are starting to prepare with sandbags, but many of them are still recovering from last year's flood season. MTN's Kent Lutz joins us now with the latest.
Thanks, Andrea. This is really just the start of what could be another rough flood season for these Missoula residents. Now, many have already started the prep stages. They're actually placing sandbags out in front of their home, and many of these areas and these low-lying areas, especially along Kerrwood Drive in Missoula, are already seeing some minor flooding. No one has been evacuated at this time, but Missoula County Commissioners have approved an emergency proclamation to start the beginning prep stages of at least minor flooding in the next few weeks. They have also closed off Tower Street in Missoula to mitigate unneeded traffic in this area. I spoke with some of the residents in this area. They're not quite in panic mode yet, but they are definitely preparing for the worst. You could really feel the frustration with just the mention of the word flood, as many are still recovering from last year's major flood season. Reporting in Missoula, Kent Lutz, MTN News. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Kent, for that. Hold no prison time for a former daycare teacher charged with smoking meth at the YMCA facility in Missoula. 30-year-old Autumn Hines is scheduled to 20 years in prison, but all 20 of those years were suspended. So if you remember last April, Missoula police found what the court documents describe as a drug den inside of a daycare facility. Hines is ordered to pay nearly $500,000 in restitution for the damages caused to that learning center. A man and a dog are dead tonight after they were found in a submerged pickup truck in the Missouri River near Craig. The pickup was spotted at around 10:25 just this morning. Emergency responders, including a dive team, were called to the scene and quickly determined there was a man inside that vehicle. Officials say the truck appeared to have driven between 2 houses before it landed in the river. And crews in Bozeman responded to a call about a car found underwater there. These are photos that were taken near a neighborhood known as the Lakes. It's just west of downtown Bozeman. No one was inside of that car, and nobody was reported injured. Investigators say they're looking for the owner. New at 9, the Helena City Commission has given initial approval for new rules on where medical marijuana businesses can operate. Medical marijuana dispensaries will be allowed in areas zoned for commercial and industrial uses. Grow operations will be allowed in industrial areas, all of it with a conditional use permit. So planners also suggested limiting how close marijuana businesses could be to schools. These changes follow several months of review. Well, today in the Montana legislature, Governor Steve Bullock sends 3 different bills to the chopping block, including a proposal to exempt Social Security income from state taxes. Well, Montana couples who earn $32,000 a year pay no tax on Social Security benefits. The bill would increase that threshold to $60,000. But Bullock vetoed it. He also vetoed a bill requiring families to seek unpaid child support before getting food stamps. Another bill to make it a felony to give false information to a police officer. There's some new information surrounding Montana's Real ID compliance we want to tell you about. Well, the state is now officially compliant. We do want to let you know that you're not required to get a Real ID. They are enhanced licenses and they're optional. But come October of 2020, you'll no longer be able to get on a commercial flight or enter a federal building just with your standard Montana driver's license. You'll have to use a passport in that situation. So here are a few things you should know about the Real ID. You do need to make an appointment at the DMV, have documents with you, including a birth certificate or passport, or maybe your Social Security card, and documents to provide residency. All of it's going to cost you just a little bit more than a license renewal. New information on the recovery of a Missoula shooting victim shot 8 times during a road rage incident in March. Casey Blanchard was shot in the left arm, the chest, spine, abdomen, and both legs, and he had 10 surgeries and continues to recover and make progress. So this all happened on March 14th. Blanchard got out of his vehicle to check on a motorist he thought needed assistance. An Arley man is charged with those crimes and still in jail. Blanchard was one of 4 victims in that series of shootings near Missoula. Shelley Hayes died from his injuries, and Montana Highway Patrol Trooper Wade Palmer continues to recover at a Utah hospital. We want to tell you about a fundraiser that is going to be helping these victims of this shooting. All of the Montana Buffalo Wild Wings locations are donating 20% of their proceeds on May 13th to the victims. There is a coupon that you'll have to use, and you can get that by going to the story on our website. New information tonight surrounding the new superintendent of Missoula County Public Schools. Rob Watson accepted that role as Missoula School Superintendent, a job that means overseeing about 2,000 more students than Bozeman. It is good news for the Garden City viewers if you are watching from there. All of the Bozeman School Board says he really did a tremendous job while there.
It's a big deal. Rob has been an extraordinary superintendent. He's been nothing but exemplary throughout our system. He has left our district in a great spot. Because of that, I think we're very much prepared to take the next steps we need to do with the district.
Well, the board hopes to have a superintendent by June 1st, the first day of the next administrative school year. Longer, warmer days of spring signal the end of another season, ski season that is, as Curtis Gervinitz explains the harsh and snowy winter made for many smiles on the slopes of Montana.
The powder has turned to hero snow. The pond skims have claimed plenty of people. Most chairs have stopped spinning. It's almost a pre-ski season. Predictions of El Nino and a bad ski season here in Montana did not come to fruition. In fact, it was another deep banner year for a booming business that generates millions of dollars for the state. Here in Montana, more than 1.2 million snow sport visits were made, which is one person skiing or riding one day at one resort. While the season is slowing down, skiing is hot in Montana, and most resorts plan to invest with more terrain and lifts over the coming years to meet the increased demand. Early season conditions were a little thin, and rock skis got a little rockier. But for most of the state's resorts, winter really came on strong later in January with a parade of storms and consistent cold. Unlike previous years that had warmer spells, the ski season stayed cold, which kept the snow in great condition. In fact, it was almost too cold to ski at times in February, with multiple resorts, including Great Divide, Whitefish, Blacktail, and Snowbowl, closing because of wind chills colder than 40 below. A deep snowpack left most ski areas with nearly 100% of possible skiable terrain open, even as the last lifts were spun. Over the last few years, Montana's longest ski season belongs to Great Divide near Helena, which still plans to operate at least one more day this coming weekend and could even be open once again into May. After that, the only way to make some turns will be to earn your turns. What a season it was. And now you're a little more weather-wise.
Okay, so all that video looked amazing of the skiing, but come on, we're pretty glad that spring is on the way. Still to come on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news, road construction is causing major delays in Kalispell. It's a heavily traveled street. Plus, Northwestern Energy is going green this Earth Day. We're going to explain. And right after the break, Bob McGuire will deliver your statewide weather forecast, so do not go anywhere.